They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Well, it's not my concern.
Taki? Eve, are you alright? This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
We love our home, and if you don't, pack your bags, you're free to go. Don't let the big door hit you with a good luck split you. Wave goodbye to Joe.
Okay, kid. Give it to me.
I will never say I'm sorry, I ain't taking nothing back. I don't. The world is full of clowns, they're all stupid and they're proud. Painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can't be around.
I played the exit accidentally. Sorry, everybody. Drew here, Drew That Underground, Breaking Rock 71. Nord here.
Yeah, I'm here. I was kind of wondering what you were doing there.
I thought I hit the intro, but I'm like, oh shit, that's the other one.
Yeah, I wouldn't even play any of those until you need to, but hey.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yes, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yes, I do understand that. Welcome to Breaking Rock 72. They opened Pandora's fucking box. Collective Shout, Visa, Mastercard, shutting down gaming, or at least trying to, on Steam. Now, I know they are saying, no, we're after the illegal adult games. First of all, none of the games that are getting shut down are illegal to do. Right?
Yeah, well, and again, if that was really, if it were really true that they were simply just going after games that were literally criminal, then no one would have any problem with that if that's really what was happening here.
But that's not what's happening.
That's not what's happening.
And others are saying it's for the children. Oh, really? Fucking up every gamer's gaming life for the sake of children? Oh, really? Meanwhile, let me ask Visa and MasterCard, how many 8-year-olds have a fucking credit card? Don't worry. I'll wait. Exactly.
Yeah, I really kind of there's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of digging to get to the bottom of this situation, this story here.
And digging is what we're here to do, because we dig into the rabbit holes no matter how deep they are.
Because it's anything but simple. In fact, it's as complicated as the damn hornet's nest.
Yeah, case in point, one of the founders of Collective Shout has been trying to bring down the gaming industry for the last fucking 10 years, which means for her, this isn't about not safe for work games. It's about video games in fucking general.
Yeah, no, clearly there are some people behind the scenes with Collective Shout that literally are just like, you know what? I fucking hate nerds, I fucking hate gamers, and fuck them and their entire industry.
But before we get too far,
basically their attitude about the whole thing is that.
But before we really dive into the rabbit hole, let me show you guys something new that's happening for me, aside from moving, that is. And let me share the screen here quickly. Now, yeah, as you guys know, I have been Drew.GMS as a Twitch affiliate over on Twitch. Well, recently, I've gotten locked out permanently out of that channel and that account, so I had to create a new one. So I'm starting all over on Twitch. So with that in mind, you guys can do me a huge favor. Go follow Drew.Game, that's singular, Drew, DREWDATGAME, all one word, over on Twitch. Which, as you guys see on the screen, there's a link to my personal X account and the X account for this channel, Drew.Underground, on there. And as it reads, my name is Drew. I play Xbox and PlayStation games. You can also find me on YouTube as Drew.Games and Drew.Underground. So, sorry, there was that. So, anything you want to add to that, bro?
Oh well, I mean, I know that there was a whole bunch of complication and
Yeah,
big freaking
and
mess you had to sort out there. So
it sorted out. I did, to the point where I now have an office phone, which I'm not giving out publicly, but it will be like my Drew.Games phone number at that point.
sure. Yeah.
So kind of like a business phone number at that point for this monkey business, that whatever it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Even though you and I both know that at times I really...
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
But it is. So as I was stating, please, guys, go follow this channel, as well as the others that I follow: Extra Girl, Untamed Mando, Wicked Virtue, Stuttering Craig, which is side scrollers, and the Babbling Collector, and among others. So, rabbit hole time.
Yeah.
We're going to start over on next with the stuff that I have.
Now, there's definitely a lot to go over, and you kind of have to sort of start from the start, I guess, on this one.
Yeah. So, how this started was Collective Shout went after Steam and Itch.io or whatever the hell their name is, and tried to get them to remove not safe for work games or adult games or porn games.
I mean, yeah, no, it's literally any game that doesn't qualify as like a what you might call PG-13.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Rated mature games.
Anything above T rating in gaming would be something they were going after.
Yeah.
And maybe even some of those too.
But at the time, Steam and Itch.io, whatever, told them to go pound sand or go touch grass, if you will.
Well, these people touch a lot of grass. They need to stop. They need to mind their own fucking business is what they need to do.
Yeah. But they couldn't leave well enough alone, so they went over to Mastercard and Visa and Visa and Mastercard opened the door as they went, they bullied me. Will you do something about Steam? And then they did. And here we are. We're in this room now.
Uh-huh. Sure, because as it turns out, the Collective Show people figured out that all you really need to do is organize a phone call harassment or a little get-together of the credit card agencies before they decide to move on whole organizations and whole companies.
But the problem with MasterCard and Visa doing this is they are disrupting this legal contracts between developers and places like Steam to sell the games. In other words, they're breaking the fucking law.
Well, here's what they're doing, all right?
They're doing this.
They're violating their own TOS.
Yeah.
All right, and they're including TOS terms that they didn't include when people signed up for the service, which is, well, that's a service contract violation.
Yeah. So
and not to mention they're also being incredibly unprincipled and, ridiculous jerks.
So at this point in time, the one entity we should be hearing from, the Federal Trade Commission, is sitting there with their thumbs up their ass and sucking their other thumb going, apparently, on this issue.
Yeah, well, here's the other. The thing is, we whenever we talk about government regulators, what we always have to remind ourselves is that, well, as you just said, they're kind of fucking useless. And the reason they're kind of fucking useless is because they're always captured by the industries they're supposed to be regulating.
Yeah.
Whoever the big boys are, the big players, the ones who own the lion's share of the market in terms of sales or business, always are the ones that seem to have a favorable deal, like, hush hush favorable deal from the regulators. We see this in the FDA, especially. That's the elephant in the room with this type of thing, capture. The EPA, especially the Department of Homeland Security when it comes to military contractors. I mean, there's a whole list of government departments that are supposed to be the watchmen, the ones that are careful, the ones that are cautious, the ones that are looking out for the American people, who in fact are doing nothing more than being, I don't know, enablers of the industry they're supposed to be regulating.
Yeah.
And apparently the FTC isn't really too much different in that regard either. Because here we are watching the largest credit card and financial services companies in the world going after people who do not deserve to be punished in any way, and trying to deny service to those people who do not deserve in any way to be treated like that.
Yeah. So,
all because an activist organization decided to mount a campaign against them.
Yeah.
And that's the summary of what we're witnessing here, or what we have witnessed here.
So, first up, we got Savvy here, Madam Savvy, whom we've seen around the Geeks and Gamers crew. Huh, bro?
Uh-huh.
Protected again. You can go back to every tweet and turn off the comments. It won't stop anything. This is in reference to Collective Shout turning off comments and everything and protecting their tweets.
Uh-huh. Sure, because what the hornet's nest they decided to kick turns out actually is not to their benefit to be kicking.
And I will get into who's actually pissed off about this as we go through these bookmarks here.
Uh-huh.
Savvy again on July 26th. If you go to @Collective Shout right now, you will still, or right now, who is still privated, they are losing followers. They are being abandoned by unsuspecting individuals who had their compassion weaponized. Truth works. Facts are all we need. Post their ridiculous behavior. They put themselves on display after all. Defended cuties. That's key to who we're dealing with here, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once Detroit become human banned, they wanted to take credit payment for processors suddenly being aggressive and tens of thousands of games being banned. How'd that work out? Collective Shout, NCOSE, pro-censorous losers in entertainment industry, governments, payment processors. I can do this all day. So Madam Savvy is Madam America. Got it. No?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Well,
they can toot their own horns, all they want, but the whole thing about this is this isn't about one person, okay, at all.
Yeah, I know. But I was making a joke about Madam Savvy saying, I could do this all day. Where have I heard that before? Oh, from Captain America.
Yeah. Obviously a reference, but the point I would make about it is that the amount of balls it takes to do what they did and then come back and pretend you're a victim, which is what they're starting to now do. It's amazing. I mean, these people, no matter what vein of culture they decide to operate in, they always follow the same same social rules. It feels like they're always doing the same thing, no matter where they are.
Yeah.
Whether it's any kind of, whether it's in Hollywood or it's in politics or it's in any vein of our society, no matter where they go and what they do, they always do that same, throw a shovel of shit and then have shit coming back on them and then scream victim.
Yeah. And then we got this from Chibi Reviews. Why are you hiding at Collective Shout? Weren't you jumping for joy as you took down hundreds of games, destroying people's livelihoods? Realized pissing off people for fake virtue signaling is wrong? Protected tweets.
Well, no, they threw a gigantic shovel of shit onto a whole bunch of people, and then they turned and were suddenly a victim when shit started getting thrown back at them.
Yeah.
And that's what the protecting tweets is about. They were up there basically realizing that they were about to get dogpiled.
It's not just them. Visa and Mastercard are as well.
No, I know. Visa and Mastercard, they weren't as keen to stop the dogpiling. They did get dogpiled pretty damn hard.
And they also released some corporate speak saying that we're not censoring games, we're not doing this. Meanwhile, they're actually doing it.
No, I know. The denial of them even doing what they were doing is stupid. Everyone can see what they were doing and why, too.
Yeah. And
they were just trying to gaslight people, and that was so stupid. Gaslighting never works, especially in social media.
And it makes you look even worse than you were.
I mean, we have enough gaslighting in fucking politics. We don't need it also in commerce.
But yet, here we are, because Collective Shout made the Visa and Mastercard open Pandora's box, which is the name of this episode of Breaking Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
On that, this person says back on July 25th, fuck you at Collective Shout. Fuck you and your hypocritical shit. Keep defending cuties, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this from Patrick here. Collective Shout is bringing the world together. Yes, they are. Free speech activists, sex positive feminists, everyone else, gooners.
And gooners.
Yeah.
All beating the shit out of Collective Shout right now.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Collective Shout has united the world, against them, and now MasterCard and Visa with them.
Yeah, and the thing about it is...
even Arnita Sarkeesian is like, this is wrong. So when you and I agree with her... something's really fucking sideways when we're agreeing with her. Yeah.
What we have to point out here at this juncture is what Collective Shout represents ideologically speaking. Okay. And the best I can tell, if without, being just creating a straw man or a caricature here, is that it's a group of activists, for lack of a better word, that all basically either don't like gaming, which is a big category, don't like gamers, and are very mad about gamers even existing as a group, as a sort of a collective, and do not like any kind of digital content or entertainment media that in any way offends them personally, and are perfectly okay with completely destroying, canceling, and deleting and removing and banning all of that content that they find offensive.
Yeah.
Your typical censorious prick on steroids, because it's a group of censorious pricks.
And this keeps coming up in a lot of these about cuties Collective Shout defending cuties, not the other way around.
And that's also partly who they are too. So, I mean,
So are we to take like the people that work there are a bunch of pedophiles then? Is that how this looks?
Well, I mean, it's weird that they're gonna sit there and pretend that it's about the children, but they were okay with that. So I mean, like, which is it? Are you okay with that shit, or are you gonna defend the children? Which is it? It just goes to show you just that they don't know whether they're coming or going.
Yeah.
And they Collective Shout didn't want people pointing out just how hypocritical they are. Also, that's partly why they locked the tweets down, because people will go looking and go, "Oh, I see how you guys operate." You know.
So we got this. Visa Japan CEO says disabling card payments for illegal adult content is necessary to protect their brand. Except for doing this is damaging your fucking brand.
Yeah, that makes no fucking sense.
Not doing anything didn't damage you at all.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like a company selling a product. It's like, if we don't stop selling part of our products, we're gonna hurt our product line. It's like, no, stopping selling your products is hurting your product line, idiot.
And then down here, Elon Musk chiming in. We need to get X payments going soon.
Yeah, no, the fact that it got to that level where Elon was talking about it tells you just how fucking broad this went. How fucking far this blew up out of proportion.
Yeah. And Grums.
I mean, granted, Elon is a nerd. He is a gamer. He is aware of things like this. But
yes, he is.
He is also the richest man on the planet.
Yeah, and he could actually do it.
Yeah, he could actually do it.
But Grums, we know Grums.
Yeah.
Well, not personally, but we've seen his name come up in defending gaming countless times.
Well, yeah, no, Grums is one of the gamer community guys, so
yeah,
we know.
He's one of the best of us. And his comment on the Visa Japan CEO asshole here, it's trashing their brand actually. They know this, but don't care because they have a virtual monopoly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Elon Musk threatens he will create an alternative to Visa and Mastercard payment processors after their monopoly is being called out for censorship of anime, manga, and games. This issue is officially went mainstream, and Collective Shout probably bit off more than they can chew. Probably.
Yeah. If it reached the level of Elon, it's out of hand for that.
I will say the name of the title of this stream again. They opened Pandora's box.
Well, it's the classic Streisand effect, or maybe not classic, but a newfangled type of Streisand effect, or blowback, some people call it, or unintended consequences, or getting what they fucking deserve. Some combination of those.
But also keep in mind that through all of this, the ones affected the most financially are the game developers.
And
let me finish first.
Please. And sorry, I was just
the game developers, as in, there are some games that even I wouldn't buy or play on Steam, of sexual nature. But the fact of the matter is that those games are getting banned, but so are also some horror games that have games with no sexual content in it whatsoever, just gore and shit, getting blocked from payment. And with that, the ones getting hurt the most, like I said, are the game developers. They put the game on the platform, signed a contract with Steam to sell the game, and now it's, in some cases, being given away for free because Steam's not allowed to sell it.
Yep.
You're taking food away from families of these developers.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Congratulations.
The thing about it is that it's like they went and said anything that a child couldn't play or isn't appropriate for a child should just be outright banned, is basically their ideology. And I don't know what the hell they're basing that stupid shit on. It's like they don't realize or don't care that the majority of the gaming industry is adults selling products to other adults. They don't seem to understand that. And yes, there are kids, underage people who play video games. Yes, of course. That was the case since its inception. That will always be the case that there are kids around. But there's these things called parents that are supposed to be doing their fucking job, which is making sure their kids are not consuming adult content.
And
that was always the parents' fucking job.
Yeah, and I'm showing on screen right now something that was created to keep the government out of the gaming industry. It's called the ESRB game rating system.
Yeah.
It exists for a reason.
Yep.
And that reason was to
give the customers an idea of what they're buying before they buy it.
So children do not get their hands on like a rated M game or a T for teen game before they're supposed to.
Yeah,
and apparently Collective Shell, Visa, and Mastercard have no fucking clue that this exists then.
Well, I mean, they didn't care. Again, all they knew was that they were getting blitzed with phone calls and a campaign practically of harassment over them allowing transactions with these gaming industry carriers.
Yeah, they were getting those calls and emails from a minority of people. Now they're getting calls and emails from the majority in the opposite direction now.
And at first you might sit there and say, well, doesn't that make them a victim? And I'd say, well, it would if it were simple enough as them going, okay, shit, we didn't realize what was going on here. We decided to reverse all of this. We're sorry. If they backed off of all of it and said, we're sorry for what we did here, we're going to reverse it, and we're not going to do this again, then I would say, okay, well, then that just makes them the victim here. But they didn't do that. That's not what they did.
No, they doubled down with fucking lies.
Yeah, no, they started gaslighting.
Yeah.
Which means they know what they did, and they did it because they wanted to do it, and they were okay with doing it.
Yeah.
And they're still okay with doing it, even now.
And then here's this. This is one of the founders of Collective Shout that is forcing Steam to bow down to payment processors. They think these characters are hurting children. We got a character from a beach volleyball game.
Yeah, that's Dead or Alive, that game.
Yeah. Laura Croft. Okay. And then from Halo, the AI.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But, yeah.
You know, again, it's just like, if you can imagine, like, Collector Shout is like this combination of activists who, you know, the newfangled types, the woke types, who don't like anything that's, you know, edgy, combined with, like, the old, for lack of a better phrase, Christian conservative types who don't want anyone ever seeing a boobie. You know what I mean?
And speaking of Anita Sarkeesian, here we go with some quotes from her. Our best friend at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Someone give this brilliant...
Well, the enemy of my enemy at this point, right?
Yeah, okay.
That's what it is.
Here's the one down here. I really hope someone starts a counter campaign to fight this regressive, puritanical nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
There are way, way, way more people who want to buy and support sex work and sexual materials, or at the very least, don't think it should be banned.
You know, and see, my point is, like, look, if we're talking about the content itself and saying, oh, well, this is good content, that's irrelevant. That's a value judgment that's not ours to make. You want to know whose value judgment that is to make? That's the customer. Okay? That's the customer's value judgment to make. That's not to say I'm going to sit here and say, oh, every bit of, sexual content I can think of should all be, stuffed in everyone's faces. No, I don't think that at all. I think people should get what they want in regards to entertainment and content and games. And they should get what they want. If what they want is something to be sexual or be graphically violent or gory or horrible, quote unquote, according to the parents of some children somewhere. They think it's horrible. Well, again, if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like the station, change the station. If you don't like the channel, change the channel. Learn to be adults.
And then Perma here says, Anita Sarkeesian is back, and she joins the resistance to the mass censorship. I know I said that this whole payment processor and collective shout thing is creating unity between left and right, but I think this is causing reality to wrap in ways I cannot anticipate. People who largely probably would want to see the other group dead are going, you know what, you're right here.
Yeah, well, in the case of Anita, it's literally just she only believes in a certain type of censorship. She's not completely against censorship. She's mad at what they're going after right now. She doesn't want the sex stuff gone after. Okay, and Anita, that's because Anita's basically a leftist feminist type, and she believes in women just being as wild and out as they can possibly be with their lives and livelihoods. And whatever, Anita, you do that, you be that, you say that, you support that all you want. What we're here for is we don't personally believe that a credit card agency or any activist group should be allowed to decide who gets to buy what content. And that's my problem personally with this situation. Yeah, I don't give a shit about sex workers in regards to, I don't advocate or watch their content. I don't give a damn about any of that. But what I do care about is that there are people who do want to buy that content, do want to see those things. And no third party should be getting in there and saying, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. Stop. We're going to shut all this down. That shit is tyranny, and it shouldn't be allowed. Tyranny is the one thing that should absolutely be abhorred by everyone in our society. And that's the core of what I find wrong about the situation, is that it is tyranny of a tiny minority of people who want to tell everyone what they can and cannot buy and watch and consume in terms of entertainment content.
Yeah.
And they don't have any right or business to be doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to go take a quick bathroom break real quick. And while you guys are waiting, listen to this. Be right back. So where were we?
Yeah, I was just explaining why Anita is involved in this and why we're involved in this, or what we have to care about in regard to this collective shout censorship situation. Yeah, I mean her intentions are politically leftist, and her intentions are to defend the sex work community and the OnlyFans type content community from censorship by Visa and Mastercard and other servicers. But our intention is to not make that value judgment on what content is being defended here. She does defend a specific type of content. She would still prefer certain other content to be canceled. So she's not exactly innocent in this. She just doesn't like what type of content is being canceled. Whereas I'm sitting here saying content should not be canceled for content quality by some person who either doesn't have a good handle on social, sociability, or is some kind of prude or puritanist. I mean, honest to God, you would have every single thing, I mean, besides Veggie Tales, banned if it were for these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not okay. That's ridiculous.
Indeed.
And frankly, the forces of tyranny are kind of united on that shit. And it's really sad that there's so many people that think that going that route is the way that we're supposed to be going. It's almost like they think that you can stop loss the damage to our society by just banning everybody from having access to it, and then everybody will go, oh, okay, I guess I can't access it, so I guess that means I should just give up and live a better life and stop consuming anything that Christians don't like, or whatever. And that's not how society is going to function. These people get their way. That's not what would happen. The only thing that you do by banning all that material is you make that material go underground. And underground, just like with drug use, is where the worst things happen.
I got a question for you. How much porn have you encountered on X?
Well, I mean, there's certainly, it has its fair share. It's not, the algorithm doesn't.
That's not the question.
The algorithm doesn't force it on anyone. The current algorithm that X uses does not show that stuff to anyone who is not actively seeking it.
Again, I asked because you didn't answer. How many times have you seen it on the platform?
I mean, several. I mean, it's there.
I don't recall seeing any.
No, and that's my point. See, unless you are, for the most part, perusing profiles and looking at what other people are tweeting, and examining, pages and profiles, you're not going to see all sorts of diverse posts. If you go through your regular feed of just who you follow, you won't see any of it ever.
That's usually what I do.
If all you ever look at is people you follow on a regular basis, unless you follow people who produce that type of content, you won't see it ever on X. It's not pushed on anyone who's not seeking it. For the most part.
The reason I bring it up is because now Collective Shout is going after X for that very thing.
Well, I know, and again, they want X to do what they did with like Instagram, which was ironic because as soon as Facebook decided to do that with Instagram became nothing but like edgy stuff. Nothing but like all women who are like borderline pornographic with their content.
But also on this note with Collective Shout, apparently they assume Madam Savvy is a guy.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Which she
obviously isn't. And as she said, Collective Shout unprivated their pinned comment from when they were private still lists me as a man. This is punishable by law in Australia, and I am getting very close to filing a complaint. They are locking all their posts down. They don't want their words posted under their tweets. But this is what I said when they were gearing up for. They and other groups are labeling Elon Musk's Gronk assistant Annie as porn and childlike to get it banned from Apple, payment processors, the UK, and any government performing overreach. This is not enlightenment. This is slavery to females who have no love, no joy, no purpose. They chase bakeries, lip gloss, Detroit Become Human, but Celebrate Cuties, a 2020 film with real child exploitation where 650 little girls were twerked in auditions. They lie and throw fits, and now they're terrified.
But yeah, anybody that cares about kids should have been offended by that particular production.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They were cool with it.
Yeah. Hypnotic showing Madame Savvy's thing.
Yeah.
And then this, which apparently there's a community note on. Collective shout, the group behind Visa payment processors banning anime titties on Steam and attacking Japanese devs just got SCP'd contentment breach removed for a naked non-human entity called Peanut. This whole thing is just a continuation of Gamergate, but more ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it really is, isn't it?
How is this offensive to anyone? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's not a human.
Yeah. Indeed. And then Grum's here talking about Mastercard. Don't think this is just about grooming or porn. I hope you don't like guns in video games because payment processors have a dim view of those kinds of activities. Visa and Mastercard are only too happy to push collective shout to the front to say, see, that's the reason we did it. They don't want you to look too closely and see that they're the only one, a TOS that a terms of service that ruled everything in the world, and it's theirs. They've been doing this a long time. They went after websites before, then Japan, then MAGA, and now games. This was always their plan.
Yeah, no, again, Collective Shout is a group of people who clearly
but
were
in
trying
this
to get a new angle.
But in
for
this
an old attempt.
But in this case, he's talking about MasterCard. That
Yeah,
this
no,
is
I know.
their plan all along.
But see, okay, yeah, but you got to remember this. They wanted to do it, and that's why I pointed out they're not a victim. See, Mastercard and Visa are not victims here.
No, they are not victims. They are every bit as guilty as Collective Shout.
Yeah, and it's mainly because they had a choice to say, we didn't believe in any of this, we're sorry, and back away from it. They didn't do any of that. They doubled down and said, fuck you.
And gaslit.
Yeah, and gaslighted all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had their chance to really be a victim here, and they didn't want it. And the reason they didn't want that is because they're not a victim. They're not. They're on board with it. They're okay with all of this.
Going after X now too. The feminist group Collective Shout. Yeah.
You really it makes you wonder ask the question, what kind of world do these people expect us to live in? They expect us to live in a world where adults don't sell other adults anything that's adult related? Really? They expect adults to sit there and say, "Oh, well, because this isn't kid friendly, we can't sell this to other adults."
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Here's Savvy responding to somebody. You threatened to sue a woman for daring to speak out against you. You labeled me a man in your collective shout post because you can't believe a woman would talk back. You have a history of using harsh language to get your way, no more. You think women do not have agency? You work to get clothing banned from shops because women won't stop buying them. You label all porn as degrading, even the women who choose to do it. You slut shame, you hurt women, and you hate men. She's right, bro.
Yeah, no, as far as their judgment, again, their value judgment is where the crux of the problem is. They think their their personal value judgment, Collective Shout's personal value judgment, should be the dictate by which the world operates. They really believe that their personal value judgment, should decide how the world is allowed to operate. This is exactly the same problem that the woke left had or has. It's that their personal value judgment in their own mind should dictate how the world operates. And so you can see that there is definite parallels, and as unified as the so we say opposition to Collective Shout is right now politically, as in, diverse it is politically, so is the people on the other side who are within Collective Shout. It is politically diverse within Collective Shout also.
And then this brings up a point that we made previously in talking about Sweet Baby. Very familiar, just like Sweet Baby.
Well, yeah, and then in the case of Sweet Baby, they were just influencing everything to be black and gay.
Yeah.
In order to just be that, because that's somehow more valuable than any other way of being in their mind.
And if those of you who are watching this after the fact, or watching now, whichever, recall a previous stream that we did here on this channel covering the Sweet Baby Inc. business with gaming.
Yeah, and their intense grip on the gaming industry.
We said something to the effect of Sweet Baby Inc. is not the only one out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have one of the other ones here, but there are still more.
Yeah, we don't know how much influence Collective Shout has on game development. We would assume not much, but this is about game marketing. They're trying to get an iron grip on marketing.
But this is also more than that, because when I say they open Pandora's box, questions like this now have to get asked. We're not allowed to buy games now according to Visa and Mastercard. That's what they want. Okay, then what are we not allowed to buy next? Groceries, gas for the car? When does it stop?
See, that's where actually the old ESG thing was going to filter down. See, this is why ESGs were such a terrible thing to allow to happen. Is because eventually the woke principles that we ourselves, for instance, absolutely have opposed from day one, of not wanting anything to be quote unquote offensive to leftist sensibilities, which is what woke means. Woke means leftist sensibilities on parade and on with the hammer of law behind them. That's what woke means, at least in terms of power. That's what woke means. And our argument was like, look, we're supposed to be a nation dedicated to freedom here, not a nation dedicated to radical political sensibilities of any kind. Our country is not supposed to be dedicated to radical political sensibilities of any kind. Our country is supposed to be a place where people can believe in politic how they want, without so long as they don't violate the rights of other people. to do the same.
Yeah.
That's been our line in our country since the beginning. It's what it's supposed to be. We're talking founding principles of the entire country here.
Before we started the stream, you and I were talking about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Well, here you go, bro. So Collective Shout seems to be a bunch of Karens who bully local bankers because their buns are too hot to handle. Lobby payment processors to force Steam to remove AO-rated games they don't like. Got GTA 5 removed from the country of Australia.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been at this for
and so that's
years.
what I was saying. So that's what I was saying on the Collective Shout end. It's politically diverse with them too. This isn't. I'm not sitting here saying the Collective Shout is woke leftists. It really isn't actually. It's actually woke conservatives. I mean, really, primarily, it seems. And there's some Karens. There's some Karens in there, obviously.
And then here's the statement from Mastercard directly. So let's read this fucking lie right now. Bro?
Yeah.
Mastercard has not evaluated any games or required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites and platforms, contrary to the media reports and allegations. Bullshit.
Well, if that was really true, then there wouldn't be any controversy, would there?
Yeah. Our payment network follows standards based on the rule of law. Except for you're violating it by doing this. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network. Except for you're not.
So Australians were lawfully not allowed to buy GTA? What the fuck are they saying?
At the same time, we require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure Mastercards cannot be used for unlawful purchases, including illegal adult content. Except for nothing that's being blocked is illegal adult content.
No, I really don't. See, this again, the gaslighting. It's like they're trying to pretend like they're a victim here. When they're actively going after shit they know they're going after.
And then when they posted this, they got community noted.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, they literally are just fucking lying.
Yeah, and the platform that they released this on called them out for it with the community note.
Uh-huh.
So everyone's calling them out, including the platforms that they post on.
Yeah, no, is it really so hard to allow the purchases of content that is not illegal? Because that's what they're not allowing right now.
Yeah, they're not allowing legal content to be purchased, calling it illegal content.
Yeah, they're not citing any laws or anything in regards to what they're banning and why. They could easily be specific and say, here's a title we banned and here's why. They could easily say that. They don't want to say that because they want to pretend like they didn't do anything wrong and that they're not doing anything.
I have to say this on camera right now. Federal Trade Commission, get your thumb out of your ass and do your fucking job. Fuck.
Yeah, well, the thing about the FTC is, like I said, they are unfortunately, somewhat at the behest of the people they're intending to be regulating.
Yeah.
And so going after the people that they're regulating isn't going to really happen because the people they're regulating are the ones that, wine and dine them and, allow them to become rich as regulators.
And worse than that, and allow the people they're friends with to break the fucking law, do irreparable harm to game developers and their families, in this case, prevent customers from buying legal content. Yeah, that means that you're fucking in on it. Congratulations. Which means then I got to call on the Trump administration to do something.
Well, yeah,
because
I mean,
the Federal Trade Commission fucking won't.
Well, that's what the FTC is. The FTC is part of the Trump administration at this point. Whoever's there in the FTC are people that are...
Well, then President Trump needs to go fire a lot of people then.
They're at the behest of him. I mean,
Well, then what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of
We
wondering.
have not heard from them not once on any of this shit.
Although we know that there's other branches of the Trump administration that seem to be a little bit off the line already too,
Which we've already previously covered.
Yeah, we have previously covered that. So do I expect the federal government to get their act together? No, of course not. fucking, why would they?
And
They ain't never
secondly,
done it yet. They ain't going to. I don't expect them to.
I said previously, when talking about the ESRB, that was created to keep the government out of gaming. Well, now we need the government to get involved in gaming in this situation because who the fuck else is going to stop this shit?
Yeah, no, like don't we already have? I mean, people say, "Oh, well, the Constitution doesn't apply to private corporations." Like, yeah, so what? The argument there is that corporations should be allowed to have slaves because they don't have to follow the Constitution. No, of course they have to follow the Constitution and should have to follow the Constitution. It's just unprincipled, wishy-washy bullshit to say otherwise. They do not get to violate the rights of their customers because they're not part of the government. And this type of thing with these credit card servicers and financial servicers, honestly, this is all just making a really good argument against allowing monopolies to even form. Yeah. If that's what it's doing, it's making a really good argument that Visa and Mastercard and these other ones have a fucking monopoly. And that the government should be doing something about those monopolies at this point, because all they're doing is colluding. I mean, multiple companies that form the basis of the majority of an industry, all doing the same thing at one time to their customers, is collusion, and it's illegal under several federal laws that already exist.
Yeah.
But here we are.
And
so as you calling for the FTC to do something, yeah, they could do something. It's called trust busting. But are they going to do that? Do they want to come down on the people who essentially want to dine them?
But what I'm talking about are the laws that are being broken by Visa and MasterCard in doing all of this shit.
Sure, yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying that there are existing laws they are breaking by doing this, yes.
Yeah.
But do we expect the FTC, who is in their pocket, essentially, to do anything about it? I don't know.
Well, then the Trump administration directly has to do something about the FTC and then therefore do something about this, because we're about to see a rush of lawsuits here in the United States and maybe even across the world against Visa and MasterCard on the levels that we've never seen before.
Well, I'm just saying is
customers, developers, and who knows whoever else.
The federal government has all this talk that they give out about consumer protection, right? And all this chitter chatter about consumer protection.
Yeah, and they're doing nothing.
And here they are letting industry giants abuse customers.
Yeah. What consumer protections? Exactly. But on that note, Emerald Apple here. The feminists are our collective shout and are angry that no one agrees with them, make up threats against them, and fails to take accountability for falsely farming many games and abuse material. All of you reap what you sow. Elon Musk's actions have put us at great risk. Movement Director MRT at the Australian. Collective Show founder Melinda Tankard Reist, it looks like it says racist, said her group will not be silenced by gamers' threats and abuse. Except for you're the ones engaging in the threats and the fucking abuse, stupid.
Gamers are threatening us and abusing us. Okay, well, there's this thing called the rights of people to live their lives as they see fit. That they don't give a shit about abusing.
Are supposed to exist that you're engaging against. Predictably, misogynistic gamers have come out in full force.
Misogynistic, yeah, okay.
In defiance of their access to rape stuff and child abuse games. No, that's not what we're up in arms about, stupid.
Child abuse games? Oh, right. So that's what those games they banned are.
Not seen what I've not seen any child abuse game.
Their argument that they're making is that they only went after content that's illegal. But they didn't go after content that's illegal.
Yeah.
That's just a lie.
Uh-huh.
They went after content that is perfectly, totally normal, regular, and very popular content.
They've unleashed a torrent of abuse and threats of violence against the women on our team. Oh, really? Somehow I don't believe you. Across multiple online platforms and via email to individual staff members, these men have threatened to rape and kill us and send us to porn and child sexual abuse material, post photos of your faces, call us cunts, and rape meat, encouraging us to kill ourselves. Threaten to make rape porn using our images and hunt down our addresses. Now, I'll
take shit that didn't happen for 100, Alex.
I am not excusing things like that happening to people, because I do know that
if anybody is threatening any of that shit for real, they're a fucking dumb asshole.
Yeah. And we totally condone and we totally disagree with that.
Yeah, no, they're a piece of shit if they're actually doing that.
But
what is Collective Shout doing is the question here.
Yeah, but the problem is Collective Shout, and they've lied so many fucking times. So how do we know that this is the truth?
No, we don't. We don't know it's the truth. We would have to take their word for it.
And their word is so full of lies every time.
But again, we can't believe anything they say. You don't throw mud and then complain about mud getting thrown at you.
Yeah.
That's hypocrisy. If you want to throw mud, you take the mud that you receive in return as your just desserts for your mud throwing.
Tankard said Mr. Musk, Elon here, was amplifying the worldwide online abuse by reposting change.org petition against us. That's just a petition, stupid.
Yeah. And the petition just wants you to stop doing what you're doing.
That's it. Musk actions have fueled threats and violence, harassment, and digital abuse on all of our female team across all of our platforms, and focused on
they make themselves sound so innocent and helpless. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They want us to believe they're so innocent and helpless. Oh my God, the poor babies.
Yeah, the poor things that ruined everything for everyone and united the world against them. All you poor things. Again, when I say unite the world against them, you have people like Nord and I in the same boat with Anita Sarkeesian.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And actually getting along on a topic. Think about that for a minute. But
and again, there's no principle behind what they're doing. None whatsoever. And so it's no surprise that the response to the consequences of their actions being one of victimhood. Of course they think they're victims. Of course they do. In fact, that almost makes me believe that it really must be a whole bunch of women behind this, because that's typical.
And then we end the X.
Sorry, that was actually misogynist of me to say, but
doesn't matter.
But if it's true, it's true.
But we will end with this portion of the X business here on the stream from something that I said. At Visa and at Mastercard, going after illegal gaming content at Steam, great job at pissing off everyone in the world. Hashtag Collective Shout. And obviously, nothing you see here is everything's burning down behind them. Because they're the ones that set it all on fire.
Yeah, no, the old Frank Drebin meme. It's like, yeah.
So yeah, so there's that. So I think we'll end taking a look at YouTube stuff, or at least one video over here. And it looks like this was from 2 days ago from Vera Dark Titan Media. So let's take a look at Vera and what she's talking about here. As soon as the ad is done. Actually, there's two of them. Thanks, YouTube. All right, here we go. So let's take a listen at what Miss Vera Dark has to say in her 9-minute video. And we will end Breaking Rocks this episode with listening to this lovely lady.
Our freedoms are under attack. Video games, books, paintings, films, music, and other creative works are legally considered forms of speech. And in the United States, expressive content, including artistic expression, are protected by the First Amendment. But it seems that credit card companies, banks, and payment processors feel that they are above these things. Now, in a key 2011 Supreme Court case, Brown versus the EMA, or Entertainment Merchants Association, the court ruled that video games are protected speech just like books or movies. This decision confirmed that the government cannot ban or restrict video games based on their content, but now we have to deal with feminist organizations such as Collective Shout nannying adults and going to credit card companies when companies like Valve do not listen to them and cave into their demands. They want our entertainment restricted, and that is why we need to sit here and fight back at every opportunity possible. And of course, we've been talking a lot about the video game industry recently, especially with something like Stop Killing Games, which doesn't necessarily have to do with the United States, but I think that it is still important. Everybody across the world discusses it because it is protect us against the massive corporations in this industry. But now, on top of having our purchases potentially ripped away from us because a company does not feel like supporting a game and its servers anymore, we also have to worry about content that features adult themes being completely removed from platforms, regardless of where you are across the world. I have been talking.
That also reminds me something that I brought up to our mom.
Yeah.
If Visa and Mastercard are doing this to Steam, what's stopping them from going after Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox and PlayStation?
Yeah, no, it's not a power you want a private agency to have over consumers.
Which I said to Mom at the time, have
no matter
fun.
what they intend to use it for.
If Visa and Mastercard are hell-bent on doing this, then I say to them, have fun being in court with Microsoft over that. Have fun with that. Because Microsoft has enough money to fight the credit card companies. Microsoft has enough money to fight back and probably kick their ass. You know?
Yeah, and that's my other point. It's like this isn't smart on their part in a business sense either. Like, I don't know, like, do they really think, do the people over at Visa and MasterCard really think that their company is going to get shut down by allowing the consumer to buy a video game that's not even illegal, like GTA?
But doing this could get their company shut down, though.
No, I know they're going out of their way to actually piss people off, while saying they're only complying with the law, when that's not what they're doing.
So I say to Visa and MasterCard, have fun going out of business in the future. Let's get back to Vera.
talking a lot about the situation on the channel. It is something I am extremely passionate about, and I think everybody needs to be talking about, because I understand there are individuals out there who say, oh, they're just sex simulators. I don't particularly care about that. But censorship is a slippery slope. If you give companies an inch, they will take a mile, and it might be sex simulator games today, but in a week or a month or a year or a decade, it could just be any adult theme, gore, violence. We could see titles like The Witcher or Cyberpunk or Silent Hill removed from platforms, or not even being developed anymore because they are considered too risky for these major companies. And while I and many other people,
and that will stifle creativity in the gaming industry across the board.
Sure, anything that anyone would find offensive suddenly being, not even produced. That's not what we want in this country, or globally either.
Yeah.
people do not like the idea of government interference in our entertainment. It's really coming down to, we need people to be protecting us. We need government officials to be discussing this situation, whether it is age verification on platforms like Spotify.
Yeah. It's akin to avoiding going to war at all costs, war not being on the table, not using the nukes. Well, this situation, in this case, government involvement in a situation is like, all right, well, now we got to drop the nukes. That's where we're at right now.
And that's another wrinkle, too, because of the changes that everyone has been, from YouTube to Spotify to several others, have been trying to implement now because of this, trying to say, oh, well, now we have to age verify every user. Instead of saying, look, our service, our site, our content is not for kids, instead of just leaving a disclaimer there and saying, hey, this isn't for kids, so if your kid's listening to it, prevent them, please. Instead of that, instead of having parents be responsible for their kids, now everyone has to age verify and give up their personal information and basically completely sacrifice their privacy to the third party so that irresponsible parents don't have to do anything.
So then, in other words, even adults are all children.
Yeah, no, treating adults like children, yes. That's what we're doing here. Treating adults like children.
Yeah, but that's not this topic at this time, though. So, back to Vera.
Yeah.
Or you have Microsoft requiring IDs and YouTube even requiring you.
Thanks, Vera. I just said we weren't going to talk about that.
Put your ID. If it's AI determines you could potentially be under the age of 18. They are taking a lot of very questionable moves right now, and they think they can get away with it. I, of course, like many other people, am going to sit here and fight back against these. And in the case of Stop Killing Games, I know a lot of people are very weary because it could involve a government, but ultimately we are left with very few options. And right now there is actually a bill under review that could prevent credit card companies from actually blocking adult games on Steam. It says earlier this month, Steam amended its publisher guidelines to prohibit content that may violate the rules set by credit card companies such as Visa and Mastercard. Dozens of adult games were soon purged from the platform. A group called Collective Shout later claimed responsibility, stating that it had pressured payment processors directly to take action after Steam failed.
And that's the thing. If you did not want backlash, or as Collective Shout calls it, harassment, for doing this, then why did you proudly say, yep, we're the ones that pressured them, just so everybody knows? What did you think was going to happen?
They thought everybody would congratulate them and say, wow, you guys are doing great work. Good job.
Well, thank you so much. No, go fuck yourself.
It's like,
Fucking
imagine there's an angry crowd gathered around and everyone's like, who did this? And the other guy steps up and says, it was me. And he's like proud of himself.
Proud, yeah.
And everyone in the crowd's like, oh, you're the prick, huh?
And then stone him.
And then
like,
he goes,
why are you being so mean?
Yeah, no, and then he starts pretending like he's the victim.
Yeah.
When he just was willingly and happily abusing a crowd of people.
Yeah.
To respond. Of course, they are doing this under the guise of protection. They are claiming that this is to protect women and girls and children, but ultimately it's not about protecting anybody. It's about controlling everybody. They do not care about protecting young girls or women. They care about making a profit. And of course, there is no consistent correlation between violence in video games causing violence in the real world. There is no consistent scientific evidence to back that up. They can make this claim. It is not proven. And they are going to push that narrative because normal individuals who do not play video games will hear about sex simulator games and objectifying women, and they might be afraid and they might say, oh, we support this decision, when really they do not have all of the information and all of the context, but they are trying to scare people into supporting them. And of course, that's not going to work with gamers because we know the truth, even if they don't want to admit it. It says fans have since launched petitions and called credit card companies out directly in hopes of stopping future purges. But interestingly, a bill is already under review right now that concerns this very problem. Republican Senator Kevin Cramer introduced a bill into the congressional record on February 4th earlier this year, before Steam had even amended its guidelines, which seeks to place restrictions on certain banks, credit unions, and payment card networks if they refuse to do business with a person who complies with the law. All of the content that
Thank you, Kevin Cramer.
Yeah, you know, should it be really so hard for merchants and credit card processors to mind their own fucking business?
Let me look up Senator Kevin Cramer, because I want to know who exactly that is. Here. So KEVINCRAMER. Okay, he's 64 years old. Kevin Cramer is an American politician who serves as the junior United States Senator from North Dakota since 2019. Mm-hmm. Good to know. Yeah. The senator or a junior senator from South Dakota. So from the Midwest, from where we used to live, bro.
Yeah, the last bastion of sanity, politically speaking.
Yeah. Well, some of the Midwest. Excluding Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota.
We'll just call it the High Plains. It really isn't even the Midwest at that point.
Okay, fine, from the High Plains. So flyover country. Right?
Well, sure. If you're talking about that definition, that's anything between New York and LA. But
between New York and LA, yeah.
that is on Steam and itch.io that is being censored currently is legal content. It is ultimately protected. Even if you personally do not agree with the contents of these games, it is legal. And so they are really just, of course, saying we don't care about people's protections and people's freedoms. We just care about protecting our own brand and image. That's really what it boils down to here. And if passed, the bill would protect against banks being...
And that's also another thought. This whole situation, if it goes to the Supreme Court, would... Obviously, Mastercard and Visa would be ruled against because they'd be violating the Constitution.
No, I know. And see, that I can't wait until this whole thing comes to blows, because the Supreme Court the Supreme Court already ruled that corporations have free speech rights. Okay.
Yeah.
They did,
free speech rights, yeah.
Sort of infamously, maybe, depending on your opinion, whatever. But
this goes well beyond that.
If they have free speech rights, why do they not also have responsibilities?
Yeah.
You can't have rights without responsibilities, okay? And the responsibility they should have, if they do have First Amendment rights as corporations to, political speech, they should also have the responsibility as corporations to not violate the rights of any of their consumers, any of their customers. They should also not be allowed to violate the rights of their customers.
Yeah.
And that would be the decision that I would hope the Supreme Court would make.
Well, they would have to, because this whole situation from Visa and Mastercard is violating the very Constitution of our country and the First Amendment outright.
I know, but people would argue.
Able to impede.
I'm sorry. I was just saying people would argue that the Constitution doesn't apply to corporations, and I say, well, okay, if it doesn't apply to corporations, then explain the ruling that they have free speech. They can't have free speech if the Constitution doesn't apply to them.
It was designed to apply to the individual and their creative freedom.
But they've already ruled that free speech does apply to corporations. So don't they then also logically have to say that so does the responsibility not to violate the rights of any individual?
Yeah, you'd think.
You'd think that would naturally follow, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Otherwise lawful commerce and thereby achieving certain public policy goals. In other words, credit card companies would likely no longer be able to refuse service to developers as long as what they are selling is legal, which means that companies like Visa and Mastercard would no longer be able to demand storefronts such as Steam and Itch remove adult games due to pressure from political entities, which would be an amazing thing. Again, I know that when we're talking about government interference in our entertainment, people become very weary, but at this point, there are only so many things that could happen. I do not want all of my entertainment ripped away from me and censored due to political entities saying that it is bad and not actually give people the full context and gaining support because of that. So I think that we do need to sit here and pay attention to this and actually give it our support. And of course, there are ways to voice directly your concerns to Visa and Mastercard. I've been talking about that quite a lot in a few videos. There are several threads and ones that I will link down below that talk about it, but they are required to have ethics phone lines so you can actually contact them and tell them basically.
I want to go back to that one line that she was showing here. Down here. This could even encompass aforementioned controversial games, as Kramer specifically notes that the bill would ensure that persons involved in politically unpopular business that are lawful under federal law receive fair access to financial services. It's unclear when the Senate and House representatives will vote on the bill, but should it pass and be approved by President Trump, Valve and Itch would potentially no longer be beholden to payment processors on what they can sell on their platforms. This bill needs to get passed. Bro?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's, again, a reaffirmation. The leverage that organizations and corporations have over the rights of individuals should definitely be chained down. Just as the ability of the government to abuse citizens should be chained down the same way.
So I take back what I said earlier. There is movement by the government now.
Yeah, well, we certainly know there is.
Minuscule, but it is now there. So I hope Visa and MasterCard are watching this whole situation, because now they're getting the federal government to start looking at them with a weary eye now.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on opening Pandora's box, MasterCard and Visa. You've brought down the federal government of the United States, Uncle Sam, and you're going to be underneath his boot, hopefully. Bro?
Yeah, well, I certainly hope that, the rights of the individuals to the content, again, pending no harm done, because, again, harm does not include, oh, my God, I saw a booby, or, oh, my God, I saw a gun, or, oh, my God, I saw, a fake zombie in a digital game get killed. or I saw blood, no matter what I saw, if no real person was harmed in the making of said content, it shouldn't be illegal and it shouldn't be restricted when we're talking about adults. Now, obviously, kids shouldn't be watching all sorts of different things, but that's a parent's job to make sure that doesn't happen, not the government.
Mm-hmm. But here we are in this room, as I said earlier.
Uh-huh.
But let's finish this video so we can give Vera her watch time here.
They are required to have ethics phone lines so you can actually contact them and tell them basically what you're thinking and how you're feeling. By law, financial institutions like Visa and Mastercard must have to have a hotline for integrity, ethics, and compliance complaints. The trending concerns are then raised and delivered to the board of directors and available to customers and shareholders. Now, of course, what Visa and Mastercard are doing is unethical, so it should be reported. Of course, if you do contact these lines, be very professional, be respectful, right? It's not these individuals that are answering the phone that are ultimately making this decision, but they can log it. And then if enough complaints are logged, it could be brought to the board of directors. Now, there is just an unfortunate side to this, and that is that the major companies in the industry right now are not fighting back against this. Microsoft is not fighting back against it. Sony is not fighting back against it. Nintendo isn't. None of them are making statements on the side of gamers. Over the past few years, all of these platforms have forced censorship on developers individually and in specific cases, but now it's like they're realizing, wow, we've been pushing this for years. Let's either continue to push it because we just don't care, or they are afraid of having payment options being ripped away from them. Now, I don't necessarily think Visa and MasterCard would rip payments away from a...
I think Visa and MasterCard are going to go after Sony and Microsoft if this isn't reined in fast enough because of games like Cyberpunk 2077. Bro.
Well, they would be dumb to do it, but they probably would.
Yeah. We've already seen how stupid they are because they did this in the first place.
Uh-huh.
And then didn't walk it back with all of the backlash that they've been getting. They instead decided to lie to everybody and say, we're not doing any of that, even though they are.
Mm-hmm.
So they only made it worse for themselves. And the only way they could make it any worse is to go after Microsoft and Sony. And collectively, both of those platforms or companies could utterly destroy them financially. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if it was a court ruling and a verdict or something.
Yeah.
Company
if
like
they got a judgment
Microsoft,
against them
Microsoft
as for
is significantly
damages, it
bigger
would.
than even them.
Uh-huh.
But on the flip side, don't want to shake the whole nest. I think that they need to, though, and they need to start standing up for this industry.
Sony and Microsoft, you need to shake the hornet's nest because it's already been set on fire. Either get
don't get me wrong. I don't think that Microsoft or Sony really care about customers either. But that's been a whole nother argument for years, though.
For years by us, yeah, because of the censorship, as Vera just said, that they were forcing on their own developers. Like case in point, Microsoft not wanting curvaceous women in their games.
Uh-huh.
So you want Abby Smash? Microsoft, is that what you want? Okay, noted. And then yet we get Eve and Stellar Blade on PlayStation, which there are rumors that that's going to be going to Xbox at some point anyway. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That they make billions and billions of dollars off of, and that they should, for all intents and purposes, care about. I mean, the video game industry brought in over $200 billion in 2024. So I think that it's time they actually start protecting it if they want to continue to make money. They feel like they are untouchable. They feel like in certain regions, right, they have to comply with certain, age verification systems and ID systems. I know Microsoft had just announced that for the UK, but we are being affected worldwide by these decisions. So I will, of course, be keeping my eye on this, but there is a bill under review right now that could prevent credit card companies from blocking adult games on Steam. So I will definitely be keeping a close eye on this, because this could be at least a partial fix to a lot of the poor seeing in this industry right now. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.
Thank you, Vera.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So on that note, there is good news. There is a bill supposedly in the works to help deal with this situation with Visa, Mastercard, Steam, and everything else.
In the whole situation, I just have to advocate for freedom for as many people as possible. I mean, and again, for anything that's actually criminal occurring, obviously criminal things are criminal. We don't have to argue whether criminal things should be allowed.
Except
what
for
they're arguing is that things that are not criminal should be criminal.
Yeah.
Or should be banned, that are not criminal. That's what they're really arguing here.
Mm-hmm.
Or that things that are bad for you should be banned. Where have we heard that crap before? It's everywhere. That crap, that dumbass idea that something that's bad for you should not be allowed to be had.
That's what led to prohibition.
I mean, again, it's a common problem with people. Is they think, well, I've determined that your habit, your thing you like is bad for you. Therefore, I'm going to make you not be allowed to have it because I know what's best for you.
So I guess
that's their attitude.
So I guess this is bad for us.
Taki? Eve, are you alright? This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
Hey, bro?
Yeah, I mean, the final thing I had to say about it is I really didn't think I'd live to see the day where the radical left and the radical right both wanted women's butts and boobs to be censored. But here we are.
By the way, just to remind YouTube that that's actually a skin-colored bodysuit that she's wearing. She's not actually nude.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that.
And furthermore, none of what I have said here, or any of what I would assume you would have said here, should be misconstrued to mean we don't care about child abuse or sex abuse or women being violated in any way.
Yeah,
because we don't agree with any of that.
All of that is wrong and terrible,
and all of that shit's illegal and is criminal and should be punished.
Yeah, but what is being punished is none of that.
Yeah, that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, what's being punished is legal games that are rated for adults, and in some cases, maybe not for just adults.
Some adults trying to prevent other adults from enjoying adult things.
Yeah,
that's what's going on here.
Under the guise of think of the children. Well, children shouldn't be playing this shit. And if your child is, then you're a bad parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
No, yeah, it's the consequences of irresponsibility. Always the consequences of irresponsibility every time.
Yeah.
And if anything, that's the thing that should be getting criticized in this whole situation is irresponsibility.
Yeah.
You know, if your kid is getting a hold of adult content, that you're responsible for that. You're responsible for your child.
Mm-hmm.
You're to blame, and it's your fault.
Mm-hmm. So, on that note, I don't really have anything else. Oh, wait. The Steam page. I almost forgot I wanted to show that. because I wanted us to take a look at Steam. Now, obviously, I'm not signed into it because this is on the web browser. Because I am signed into it on the app on my computer. But I wanted us to take a look at Steam and see what's going on here. So, looks like we got a bunch of, let's see, looks like this one, turn strategy based mechanics. That's a free to play game. Let's go back to the main page and see free to play, because I know that certain digital platforms have been putting back not safe for work games on the platform, but just giving them away for free at that point. And I don't want to go searching for anything in particular that I know would probably pop up, because chances are the screenshots might have nudity in it. And I don't want to show that on the stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me try anime. How do I spell anime?
ANIME.
Okay, so Anime Island's coming soon. Unnamed Pretty Derby. Q Play Gambling. Anime here. Okay, here's one that has nudity in it. And hentai, sexual content. Okay, so this one is still being sold at $15.17 on Steam, and that's Anime Girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's currently still up here. So one of those games that they probably would want to take down, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. According to what they themselves have said on their socials, yeah, those are the type of games they want to see. They want to see gone.
Okay, here's another one: casual indie, nudity, sexual content, anime. And being sold for a discount at $25.18. Also, here's another being sold at $11.99. And another being sold at 80% discount. So, yeah, I think we get the point that there's still stuff that's being sold on Steam currently. The only question is, will the sale get blocked by Visa?
Yeah, my main rebuke of Collective Shout is just that irresponsible parenting is no excuse for tyranny.
Uh-huh.
There's very few excuses for tyranny in general, but especially not that stupid one.
Yeah. On a positive note, I did find the one clip that I was looking for before, bro.
You did, huh?
Yeah.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Yep. I finally found it. And
a very handy one going forward, honestly.
yeah, like a couple episodes ago when we saw Obama in a pink wig.
Yeah,
that would have been perfect for that.
Yeah, no, there's many uses for that particular clip.
Yeah.
It will come in handy in a lot of situations.
And especially this one, too.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
an instant classic right there.
Yeah, that can apply to, well, not just me, but to a lot of things that we talk about.
Yeah, no,
and have.
That one, when that happened, that particular situation happened, that one had to be made to a clip. I had to do it.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But on that note, hopefully the next time we do a live stream, hopefully it'll be on the other channel, hopefully talking about video games on Drew Dat Games here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because our intent will be to rebrand the Drew Dat Games podcast to Drew Dat Games livecast. And the first episode will be episode 58 of that series.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be talking about our top games, i.e., the games that we've largely played the most over the years.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of played the most, liked the most, most influential to our gaming life.
Usually, in my experience, if I spend a lot of time playing a game, it's because I like it.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm just, it may not be a perfect correlation, but that tends to correlate.
That doesn't necessarily mean that our lists, and we both have our own, that we will be discussing with you guys.
Yeah.
Over there at some point, hopefully before I move, but we'll see what happens. That the games at the top of it, or games on it, aren't necessarily the best games of all time. It's just the games that we've largely liked or have the most playtime logged into those games. A good example of one of the games that you probably would not expect for me to have, like, in the top 10, I have somewhere in the top 10 college football. Be it college football 25 or 26 or the NCAA college football games from years ago. Bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely surprises on both our lists, for sure.
Yeah, because those are actually, on the grand scheme of great games or average games, I would say those are just completely average at best.
Yeah, they don't really compare. They're in their own realm, really.
Yeah.
So.
But I enjoy them for what they are. It's just a fun time killer.
And because really all they do is they simulate something that happens for real in the real world. They're not fantasy. Yeah. They're not an invented world like a lot of other games.
They're just sports games is all they are.
Yeah, they're literally just simulating what happens in real life.
Yeah. Sports games, I know for a lot of gamers are like...
Well, it's not my concern.
Most of the time.
Yeah, no. There is a subsection of gamers who enjoy sports games, and it's not everybody.
Yeah. But as it is, thank you guys for watching. We will wrap it up here. And as I said earlier at the top of the stream, do not forget to go follow my new Twitch channel, Drew Dat Game, DREWDATGAME, over on Twitch, where I will play PlayStation, Xbox games over there to try to grow that channel from the ground up all over again. And also occasionally do a game stream over on YouTube for PlayStation stuff, because Xbox and Google hate each other still. Bro.
Oh, yeah. No, they do.
Mm-hmm. Until then, I will see you guys around the internet, as I'm sure you will see me and or Nord as well.
Yep, we're around.
You just need to know where to look, and that's underground.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe, be well, and do not let them censor our games.
Yeah, we have to stand for freedom generally. I mean, really, just stand for it.
That's what this live cast or podcast, whatever you want to call this, is here for, to spread freedom.
Yeah.
And, well, though mostly it's still just broadcasting our conversation across the internet.
At least us Americans. I don't know about the rest of the world, but at least us Americans have to.
Unfortunately, I have to play this the rest of the world.
Well, it's not my concern.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to.
Yeah. The rest of the world can do whatever the hell it wants to. We Americans are supposed to stand for freedom.
As long as what they're doing is not what the UK is doing and trying to enforce bullshit laws.
Yeah, no, the UK is
on us.
Is a mess.
But fortunately, Trump's administration are like, no, you're not going to do that because that violates our Constitution. Plus, it's your laws. That has no bearing here.
Yeah.
That's based on their consumer whatever law in regards to the internet over in the UK that they recently passed.
Yeah, another level of
which I think is the whole ID situation, right?
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah. But as usual, the United Kingdom.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll see you guys next one. Be safe, be well. God bless America, and God bless our President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one, guys.
I will never say I'm sorry, I ain't taking nothing back. I don't care if I offend you.